What's good, guys? Welcome back to Chuck D Football TV. Welcome back to Chuck D Football TV. Breaking news. Breaking news. From Fabrizio, to be fair. Alexander Isak of Newcastle has basically requested like a transfer. Has requested a transfer. Really, that's it. He's requested a transfer to leave Newcastle, and it seems likely that he will leave this summer. So practically before this summer's transfer window closes. It's a crazy one because we all know that we are all aware that Liverpool were interested in signing just a couple of weeks back, even not just last week, just before they signed Ekitike from Frankfurt. They were interested in signing Alexander Isak, and not just Liverpool, but even Arsenal. The Arsenal were, Arsenal have been rumored to be interested, and I don't think it's even a rumor. I believe Arsenal was interested in Isak, and now but a lot of us we looked at it like Isak would stay in Newcastle, because honestly I didn't see any chance of Isak leaving Newcastle, at least this season, at least this summer, because Newcastle are, they had a good season last season. They ended up in the top 10. They made it I think to the Champions League. So the Champions League or Europa, they made it to Europe basically. I can't remember what number they ended up on the league table. Was fourth or fifth or something like that. But I know they made it to Europe for this coming season. So, and Newcastle have good ownership. They have a lot of money. They are one of the richest clubs in the world. So I'm sure he earns a lot of money in Newcastle. So it looked like everything was going well. Everything has been going well, but maybe he's looking at it like, I'm at the peak of my career. It would be sensible to make a move now, which all makes sense, because at the end of the day, a player has to take his best interests, at heart. Because at the end of the day, clubs appreciate you when you are on top. The moment you can't perform, you are kicked to the curb. So I get it, but it's really surprising, because according to what I read on Fabrizio's Instagram, Isak he didn't come to training. I don't think he even traveled with them for their preseason. So he's basically taking a stand that he wants to leave. He wants to leave. He's handed in a transfer request, and that is surprising. That is surprising. What will be surprising now is to see where he ends up. Will he end up in Liverpool? Because Liverpool just bought Ekitike. Liverpool have spent a lot this summer transfer already. They bought Frimpong. They bought I think the guy from Bournemouth, the left back. They bought who else did they buy? They bought this dude from Bayer Leverkusen, Florian Wirtz. They bought him for ridiculous amount of money, 100+ million. I think the highest transfer in Premier League history. Then they just bought Ekitike. So they've spent a lot of money, a whole lot of money, a ton of money this transfer window already. So, and before they got Ekitike, it was between Ekitike and Isak. You know, it was because Newcastle apparently wanted to buy Isak, and it's like Liverpool bullied them. Like, it's either you pick one, you keep Isak and we get Ekitike, or we get Isak, something crazy. But now that Liverpool have gotten their man Ekitike, and Isak has handed in a transfer request for this summer, where would he be going to? You know, it's been said that he has turned down going to Saudi. He has turned down from going to Saudi. So if he's turned down Saudi, it has to be Europe. You know, where would he want to go? You know, how many clubs right now in Europe can afford what Newcastle would probably be requesting for? Because I don't see Newcastle selling Isak for nothing less than 100. If they were able to drop it, it would be like 90, 95 or something like that. Like, I don't see Newcastle selling Isak for nothing less than 100. Nothing less. 100 might even be too small. If you can get him for 100 right now, you're getting a bargain. Do you understand? So would Liverpool still go and, you know, go and pay another 100 million plus for Isak? Will Arsenal, you know, show interest again? And if Arsenal shows interest in Isak, right, how does that work? Because Arsenal just got Gyökeres, who would probably be Arsenal starting number 9. If Arsenal goes for Isak, would Isak play as a winger? You know, what would it be? You know, so, but you can never lose with a player like Isak. If Arsenal is interested in getting Isak, why not? Why not? Like, you know, you can't lose with having depth, especially when it comes to world-class players like that. So for me, the only clubs I see Isak, I wouldn't even be shocked if Chelsea, you know, tries to show interest, because, you know, Chelsea, they like to get everybody. But in England, there are only maybe 3 clubs, apart from also Manchester City. But will Manchester City be interested? I don't know. So that leaves Manchester United. I don't think he's going to, they don't have the money. So it will be either Liverpool, Arsenal, or maybe Chelsea in the Premier League. And outside of the Premier League, like Spain, it has to be either, you know, Barcelona, Real Madrid, or maybe Atletico. Do I see him going to Atletico? I don't think so. Do I see him going to Madrid? Maybe, if Madrid shows interest. But, you know, if Madrid shows interest, then maybe Mbappe can be moved to the right wing, Vini to the left wing, Isak becomes a number 9. Madrid's starting number 9. That looks like a good option, but it's only a few clubs in Europe that can pay that money, you know, or that somebody like Isak would be interested in coming to. If Madrid shows interest, I'm sure he would love to come, because it's Real Madrid, for God's sake. But in the Premier League, it's either Liverpool or Arsenal. So may the best man win. May the best man win. I don't think you can lose with a player like Isak. He's a phenomenal player. One of the best strikers in the world currently. Definitely one of the top 3 best strikers in the Premier League. So it will be interesting to see how this thing plans out, what happens, how much Newcastle will be willing to sell him. Let's see how these things go. Let's see how, you know, it will be beautiful to see. I'm all here for it, you know. But yeah, And thanks for watching this video. Please like, comment, subscribe. What do you think? What club do you think would fit Isak right now? What club do you think he would go to? Where would you like to see him? Let me know in the comment section below. And until next time, peace.